This tutorial covers Section 4 of Unit 6, specifically covering the feature of dynamic pre-shared keys. In this unit, I'm going to talk about DPSK concepts and configuration. In some of the past recordings, I've briefly mentioned that dynamic pre-shared keys was an additional security feature that you could enable alongside ZeroIT. Let's take a closer look at that feature now. Whether using the feature of DPSK or not, ZeroIT must still be activated per wireless LAN so that users are forced to authenticate and then are provided with the executable that will provision their wireless LAN adapters with the correct wireless LAN settings. As I previously mentioned, if, for a particular wireless LAN, you simply enable ZeroIT by itself without DPSK, then each user that successfully authenticates and runs the prov.exe file will be given the exact same encryption key, which is not a recommended practice. The added value that you get when you enable DPSK alongside ZeroIT is that now each user gets a unique pre-shared key. The other benefit is that the wireless network administrator can set up the zone director such that these pre-shared keys expire after a certain duration. When using ZeroIT just by itself, all users are given the exact same key that you manually configured as part of the encryption settings for your wireless LAN. And that key remains active and good forever, or until the network administrator logs back into the zone director and changes that key in the web user interface. If that happens, then all the users must redo the steps necessary to obtain a new prov.exe file and obtain the new shared key. But with DPSK, each user gets an individual key that can be set to expire whenever you wish. This is why it's generally a recommended practice to enable DPSK alongside ZeroIT, even though it's not technically a requirement. The process of obtaining a unique pre-shared key for a particular individual is exactly the same as I previously described in the ZeroIT section. There is no difference in the steps involved. While there are certainly options that one can utilize to customize the DPSK feature, enabling this feature is as simple as one click of a button. As you can see here, when you go to the Configure tab and select the Wireless LAN's menu item, you must first select a wireless LAN and then click the Edit link next to its name. Within the Edit page for that particular wireless LAN, you'll see, just beneath the ZeroIT button, another button you can select to enable DPSK. Technically speaking, if you wish to leave all of the other DPSK options to their default values, clicking this checkbox is all you need to do in addition to enabling ZeroIT to enable the DPSK feature. Within the Configure tab in the Wireless LAN's menu, you can optionally set the expiration time for encryption keys that are generated by DPSK. By default, there is no expiration and the keys are good forever once they're generated. Optionally, you can set them to expire as quickly as 1 day after they've been generated or up to 2 years after they've been generated. There may be occasions when the network administrator wishes to pre-generate a batch of dynamic pre-shared keys that can then be distributed to individual users via email or some other method. This slide shows how this can be done. The first step in this process would be to identify the particular wireless LAN for which you desire to create a batch of keys. From that point, you could then select the quantity of keys that you want to be generated within the batch and then click the button that reads Generate. This will dynamically generate the individual keys, which you can then download as a .csv file to your laptop as shown here. Alternatively, you could download an example of a profile by clicking where it says Click Here. This will download a .csv file to your laptop where you can change the generic DPSK usernames to specific usernames like Tom or Sally or Bob and bind those usernames to the MAC addresses of their devices. Then you can upload that file and generate keys from it. At any given time, you can click on the Monitor tab and then select the generated PSK/certs menu item to see how many DPSKs have been generated and for which users. You can also view how long it will be before they expire, as well as delete individuals from this list if you wish to do so. Now, in this presentation, I concentrate on how to create users and passwords in the local database, how to create roles that would match those users, giving them certain access rights. And then we talked about two specific authentication features, ZeroIT and DPSK, which allow users to dynamically download and provision their wireless adapters with the correct encryption settings. However, the process of restricting user access doesn't have to stop with these two features. Once users are authenticated, there are a wide variety of other features, as you can see here, that can be implemented to give you, the network administrator, finely tuned control over what network resources your users can and cannot access. We'll talk much more about each of these features in upcoming presentations. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video discussing the concept and configuration of the Dynamic Pre-Shared Keys feature.